SoulSpeak Living in Color, where we talk about inspirations, following your dreams, and what lights your fire. I'm your host, Sam Philyaw, Rainbow and Thunder voiceover. You can find me at samphilyawvo.com. Hello and welcome to SoulSpeak Living in Color. Today is episode 12, featuring Miss Amy Selma. So Amy Selma is a super talented voice artist. She has won awards, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. She's basically living the best of both worlds. She's a bilingual voice actress speaking Spanish and English, providing voiceover services in both of the languages. So if you get a chance, check out her website, amyselma.com. You can listen to her killer demos, even watch some videos that she's had a chance to be a part of the projects. She has a contact form, so if you are someone who hires voice talent, go there. Make sure you show some love, some support, follow her socials. Let's see, we have LinkedIn is Amy Selma, of course. Instagram and Twitter is Amy Selma VO, and then Facebook is Amy Selma voiceover. And this will all be in the blog post that's attached to this video and in the description on the YouTube thing, so you'll know how to find it. Anyway, and now, hello, Amy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Samantha. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Honestly, it's an honor to have you here. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Come on, it's just me.
I'm super excited. And she has a fabulous personality, you guys. I'm just saying, just from what I've seen.
Samantha and I, we've been following each other on social media, on Facebook, and we had the chance to meet in Dallas for a split second. I'm like, hey, I know you. Hey, we got to talk. And we ran and we never saw each other again. Hey, girl. I mean, there wasn't a chance. So I'm happy we're here sitting and we're talking right now. So this is cool.
Exactly. I was hoping that we would, but conferences are so busy, you guys. And if there's hundreds of people over there. Yeah. And you'd be lucky to see the same person twice.
Yes, exactly. I was going to talk to this person. And now it's where is he? He's taking lunch?
It happens. I assume we're going to be able to meet in person eventually. So it's all good.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with your journey in voiceover. So how did you get into it? Why did you start? Tell me the whole story.
Okay. I'm from a little teeny tiny town. If you Google it, from Mexico. It's called Chetumal. It's in the Caribbean. You'll understand why I'm saying this. It's in the Caribbean with the border with Belize. So all my life, and I'm going to give a little bit of cultural context here, coming from a third world country, I love the arts. I always wanted to do something with my voice. I love to sing. I love to do theater. I love to do all of this stuff. But my mom and my dad would be, no, you're going to starve to death. This is something you can't do. You just forget about it. So eventually I did. So I was a good girl. I listened to my mom and my dad. So I killed that dream for so many years. And I decided to do, I have a bachelor in industrial design. Has nothing to do with voiceover. And my life path took me, by accident, to work into production. I was in college and I was finishing up last semester and I just needed to have the freaking credits to just graduate. So I went into an animation studio. I was a matte paint artist. I don't know if people don't know. I'll explain real quick. When you record actors in a green screen, you need to have the background. So you needed to paint photorealistic backgrounds. So I was doing that.
That's cool.
I know it was an accident. I just needed the credits. I'm like, please just sign the paper, please. I just want to graduate and have it done with. That experience took me to work into like year I'm talking about this is I graduated 2009. I'm giving myself away now. But I graduated 2009 and then that took me to work in an animated production that was being done in Mexico. So it was basically a cartoon that it was going to be we were working in the pre-production. I was the project manager, you could say, production. I was the one that was, taking up the schedules and talking with the investors and we're doing this, we're doing that, getting the people. That was my role. I had no idea to this point of what voiceover was, but I was trying to have a little bit of paying work and do something creative. And I was grateful for what I was doing, right? Okay. In this production, I was there for 4 years. That's from 2010 to 2013. Um, and we had a small team of artists, and you'll understand why I'm saying this whole thing. We had a group of Argentinians come from all the way from Argentina to Mexico. And we had other people from Mexico working in this thing. We were like a team of 13 that we were doing the pre-production. And during the pre-production of an animated original project, you need to have timing. So basically, you don't have the full animation. So you have like the key animation poses, you could say. So when you're deciding an acting, you need to time it. You need to time the scenes to know how long the movie's going to be and if you need to cut or do edits. So here I have the director, the animation director asking me, "Hey Amy, we need somebody to do like all these characters and act it out and then have timing for these scenes." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "We don't have a budget for that." So I'm going to do it. So I said, "I'm going to wing it and I'm going to do it." So here I am doing this for the first time. And I'm blocking the scenes, right? I'm like pretending to be these characters. And the animation director goes on and says, "You're really good at this." I'm like, "At what?" "You're really good at doing." I'm like, I had no idea. And then he started, to introduce me. I'm like, "Well, during the process of this whole thing, there's a thing we do. We hire, we cast out the voices, we hire them. And then this is like the preliminary, they call it scratch voice. I was doing the scratch voices. And then he's like, "Then we're going to have the cast and all this, blah, blah, blah. And then we do the real voiceover. And over the real voiceover, we do the animation." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, "Oh, and by the way, most of the budget goes in the actors." I'm like, "Okay, okay." That was like, bing, like just a light bulb. And I had the chance to do it. And I had fun doing it. Fast forward, the animation director ended up being my husband. We dated, we got married.
How
Uh,
sweet.
I know, that's how we met. And then what happened was, well, the movie ran out of budget. We did the pre-production. We were working there. It was like we're putting our heart and soul, and it didn't go to it didn't complete itself. So here we are in Mexico, and he's like, "You know what? Why don't we just try to go to the United States and let's just follow our dreams and let's see what happens." When we got married, I again buried this dream to do voiceover because I said, he has a freelance project life. I'm going to have the steady income. So I decided to, again, bury that dream and then just go for corporate America. I did a certification in project management and agile scrum things, blah, 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 blah. So I was working for corporate America, being miserable. This is 2015 to 2017. I was working, I had a steady job, I had the benefits, everything, but I was dying. My soul was dying because it was like, you know how it is. So we came to the United States, landed in Minnesota. Took us 2 years to get to LA because, hear me out, when we got to Minnesota, it's a beautiful city, but the industry was not there. And it was a good stepping point because we come from a third world country. So budget-wise, it was expensive to live in LA. So we landed in Minnesota, got a little steady economically, and then moved to LA. So here I am landing in LA 2016. Basically, his work started picking up, and I'm like, "Okay, now what about me?" Right? So he goes in and says, "Hey, remember what I told you about this voiceover way back in 2013 that you were good at it? Why don't you give it a shot? We're in LA. Why don't you take some acting classes and then just test it out? I think you would be great at it." So I did. I still had my corporate job. I started taking acting classes. I went to the intensive boot camp in the acting corps in here in LA. Um, but it was
Nice.
on camera acting, and I loved it. It was like so much fun. It was like, okay, this is intense. This is like emotionally intense. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I started taking classes in real voice LA with Mike. He was just starting off. And I remember taking a few classes. I coached with Kirsten Day. I coached with Ogie. I coached with who else? It was Valentina Latina. She was there. So I started taking these classes, but I was like in the midst of, okay, I need to make this work because this is a business. And also I still had my corporate job, but my logic was I can't quit my corporate job. Like this, like I have to make this work. It was a lot of effort. The hardest part was starting because I was exhausted at the end of the day, but I still went into I was recording from my closet back then. I was recording from my closet and I'm like, okay, I need to put in these auditions like 2, 3 hours at night and I was exhausted. But it paid off, because then COVID hit, and that was a deciding moment where I said, I mean, corporate America wasn't paying me overtime, and they were literally burning me out. I was working 10, 12 hours a day. I just had a baby.
And
Go
they
ahead.
weren't paying you overtime?
No, because corporate America said, "Well, you're working from home. We can't guarantee that you're actually there."
Oh my God.
So they started doing the work per deadlines. Versus, I mean, they were paying me hourly, but they didn't allow me to do overtime, but we had to. You know what I mean? It was a gray area, but they weren't paying overtime. So I had this whole bunch of deadlines that I had to do, and they weren't paying me overtime. And it was nuts. It was nuts. And I said, this is killing me. I can't have this. I had a baby in 2018. I have a 3.5-year-old. So I was like, I'm here working and I can't even spend time with my kid. And then everybody started working from home. It was like, I had my husband, I had my kid, I had to multitask, and I have this pain in the job. I'm like, okay,
Overwhelming.
overwhelming. I said, stop. I saved money for 3 months. Like I saved money to hold off 3 months of my income, right? You know what I mean? What I was making in 3 months, I put it and I said, I have to make it work in 3 months to get the voiceover business to do at least what I'm making in corporate America. That was my objective. So here I am. I did this whole marketing strategy because industrial designers, we change the niche of products. So I was familiar with branding and I was familiar with finding a niche to attack the voiceover industry, right? So I started off specifically with automotive radio voiceover. That was the niche that got the income. Like I started I did an automotive piece. I started doing direct marketing to agencies that do specifically automotive. And I did this by looking up because I'm bilingual, I said, I'm going to attack the Spanish market. So that's how it was very specific. Like I need to get this done. So in 3 months, I was making, I was cutting even, right? And then I said, okay, so let's get it going. So I started planning. So I quit my corporate job and then I started planning that this was October 2019. Um, and I'm like, okay, so let's start expanding. So then I reinvested in doing my commercial demos because I had to do double whammy. I had to get a Spanish and an English one, a professional demos to direct market. So I got that done with the money I had with the automotive. I reinvested and I got those demos. When I got those 2 commercial demos, because that was another thing, I sold my American English to the rest of the world. And for the United States, I market my Spanish commercial. That's what I get most of. And doing that strategy in 6 months, I had a portfolio of 25 clients. And my strategy has been direct marketing. I know maybe they're gonna kill me here, but I try to audition as efficient as possible, not to spend time because I only have 8 hours a day. So, I came to this with a business mindset since day one, and it's paid off up to now. And here goes the thing. 2020 was putting in seeds because I was doing projects that, you record them and they don't go to the air. They don't go to air until like 4 months in or 5 months in. So I didn't have the quality pieces that I submitted in 2021 were part from 2020 to mid 2021. You kind of like understand because I just started, so I didn't have qualifying pieces to submit to awards or that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But that's the story, kinda, how I got into this whole thing by semi-accident. But um, but yeah,
I think that's incredible. So you came from a third world country, you put it off for a while twice, and then moved to Minnesota, moved to LA, and then got this all started. I am mind blown that you broke even in 3 months.
yeah.
That's I like whoever is watching this, I want you to know that is insane, insanely fast for anyone who's just starting out in voiceover, no matter how much training that you've had.
I want to say something that I have a concept. It took a lot of, sorry for my words, ass hours. That means it took so much research, um, niche studying. Where are these people? Where are the people that are actually going to buy my services? It was a lot of that. Like most of that was spent in ass. Still laugh, but that's how I put the concept out there because you know it was finding where are these people that are your perfect buyers, your client persona.
Mhm.
The more clear you have that concept of who is the person that's actually going to buy this from, like this specific VO service, that's where you get the most success.
And it definitely helps that you have a corporate marketing background.
Yes. Yes, it was very helpful.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So talk about the next thing, the awards. Like, so how did you win it?
Okay. So this was a I I knew, let's go back for a minute. When I went to do the acting corps, I did voiceover for 4 months. I was 2017 and I got pregnant. I had my kid and I put it off the second time. Remember the second time that I put it off and
Mhm.
then COVID hit. Okay. My first job, I got an audition off Craigslist. Okay. Audition off Craigslist. And it was a dubbing gig for a Portuguese cartoon that was going to be dubbed to Spanish. So this was my first friggin' time going into the studio to do dubbing. Okay. I winged it. I had no idea. I just went. So in that class, I met Valentina Latina because she was doing this. We there were two protagonists. I was the little girl, and she was the protagonist, like the both of us. So that's where I met her, and she was like. If you guys don't know, go check out Valentina Latina. She's amazing. She's a working actress, like on camera working actress, but she does a lot of voiceover stuff. And she's from Colombia, and she was just in Encanto in the Disney movie. So she's amazing. So she was I mean that was what 3 4 5 years ago. She had this whole thing going and she was like, oh, we're gonna get this piece and we're gonna submit it to Sovas. And I had no idea what Sovas was. Okay, hear me out. I was just starting out, I had no idea, and she submitted that piece. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, we have to go to New York. Wait, how much is this? We have to pay this. What? I don't have the budget for that. I was scared and I scooched away from what she was doing. She didn't care, she submitted it. Surprise, the piece got nominated back in 2017 for the Sovas, and I wanted to kill myself. Why didn't I jump on that wave? I regretted it, and I'm like, okay, when I have the pieces, I'm gonna see where I'm at. I'm like, the whole reason I went into this, why submitting a piece was because I wanted to also have a little bit of credibility in my work to see where I was standing in, in the board, in the chart. Where am I, professionally? How is my work considered? Is it worth or not? And it was basically wanted to double check. That was the
Yeah.
basic need why. So the one voice conference was free to submit. For people that don't know, usually when you submit your pieces to an award, you have to pay a fee to submit them. However, one voice conference is it's a conference, and One Voice Awards is it's an event organized by Gravy for the Brain. And it's the awards that they don't require like a paid submission. That means the competition is really tough because everybody could submit their pieces and it could be, you know, English, and they do have a part for Spanish, but the competition was rough. So I found out about the One Voice Awards because of a friend in Mexico that was gonna go. Um, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I submitted them without expecting nothing from it. Okay, it was my first time. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, hit send. God bless. Months after, I didn't know the process. Literally, I know that the date was pushed back. It was I think they were gonna announce the nominees on August 8th last year, and then they pushed it back for a week or something. I'm like, oh well, if I didn't get an email, I'm like, I of course didn't get nominated. I get what would I expect, right? And I'm full like I'm an Instagram on Instagram, and then all of a sudden another coworker, another voiceover actor comes and says, "Hey, Amy, dude, congratulations." I'm like, what? Congratulations about what? And he's like, oh, you haven't seen? They posted a link to the gravy for, for the nominees. And I'm like, you're there, you're nominated. I'm like, what? I freaked out. I'm like, I go inside, I go and check. This literally happened. I went and checked and I started reading the nominee, going down the long list. I'm like, my finger was like trembling. And I got nominated for I got 3 nominations for the One Voice Conference. That was first, it was outstanding live event announcer. That was for the voice of God. That's the voice in an event. That was the first one. Then another one was outstanding radio commercial for that was outstanding radio commercial female. And then the other one was best voiceover artist of the year. That I didn't submit nothing. They pick who it is. I have no idea. Thank you, judges, if someone's listening to for picking me, because I had no idea that was a thing. Okay. So I go into One Voice Conference like with 3 nominations. I was so nervous. I was just grateful to be there with people and network and know the experience. I never in my life expected that I was going to win because so in the event, we go there to Dallas. That was August. That's where we met.
Mhm.
And in the awards, I just was happy to sit there and just hang with people, right? Like there was a list for the voiceover, the live event announcer. That was the category I won. There were 10 people. And there was like Maria Pendolino was there. And the other women, there was another amazing talent there. I'm like, okay, well, I was just going to sit here.
You're just like, I'm in the midst of celebrities.
I was just there. I was just there enjoying the moment. And I was so nervous. I was drinking wine in the awards. And all of a sudden, like, I feel Valentina comes back and she hugs me. And she's like, hey, it's going to go. I'm like, are you crazy? This is not going to happen. And all of a sudden, they pull up my name. I had no speech prepared. I had no idea. I just winged it. And it was amazing. So since that moment, I said, well, why don't we give it a shot? So I submitted to 2 other awards, the Sovas. I submitted 2 pieces to the Sovas, to the Sovas Awards. And then there was another one called Premios Lavat. The Lavat is, it's basically an awards also, but it's only for Spanish. It's the biggest one for Latin America in Spanish, right? So the pieces had to be in Spanish. So I also I submitted 1 commercial piece, a TV commercial piece to the Lavat, and then to Sovas I submitted 2 pieces. It was another radio commercial, and then it was a narration for apps, right? Okay. So for the Lavat, same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm just happy and grateful to get here. They announced the nominees. I got nominated for Best Commercial Revelation Female. And that was the category I won. And then for Sovas, I got nominated for the Outstanding Performance for Voiceover for Mobile Apps. And that was me with Victoria Paris. She's amazing. She's from the UK, and she had a beautiful piece. And it was us 2. And by the way, we were also friends on Facebook before this whole thing. So we were like, oh my gosh, Victoria. So we're going to get to meet people. I hugged her like right before the awards. I hugged her. We wished luck. I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter who takes us. We're going to have fun. It's going to be okay. So it was amazing. Like it was something I wasn't expecting. And for anybody that's listening out there, it's a lot of your mindset. Like sometimes we think that, oh, it's because my work is not good enough, or my work is, I still have to fix my performance. Sometimes we overthink things and we don't have the courage just to put ourselves out there. I'm like, asking if you're over there, like if you're listening to this and you've been thinking about this, just you have nothing to lose. I always say, if you say no to something, you have a 100% chance of not getting anything. If you put yourself out there, you have a 50-50 chance to probably be surprised to your own self, right? So, with that thought, just have the courage to just go out there and just put your work out there, and nothing's going to happen. If you don't win or nothing happens, well, okay, next time, right? But if you do, I mean, thank God it was the networking, it came more opportunity just because of just for taking the decision to just put yourself out there.
right?
That's how that happened.
I like one of my favorite, not exactly a quote, but way to think, because I'm very much big on positive thinking over negative and learning how to control and balance the two. Like, if you think you can't do it, you can't. If you think you can, you can.
Exactly.
It really is all about the mindset. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what race, gender, ethnicity, whatever, you just got to have a little bit of confidence. Tell the negative self-talk to sit down and shut the hell up.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, that I think the biggest barrier is oneself's mind and thoughts. That's the first battle you have to kind of win, because I mean, you get doubts, you get thoughts, you get, ideas in your brain, and it's literally okay. And then just keep going. That's, I think, is the most valuable thing my grandma told me.
You got to let it humble you every now and then so that you can continue to learn. If your brain is like, I think we should like get some feedback on this, I'm not sure if this is great. I mean, maybe you should get some feedback.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, you overthink it, as you just said.
Yeah.
And especially as creatives, I find that a lot of voice actors tend to overthink things and like get stuck in this cycle, this vicious cycle of never feeling good enough, being too perfectionist,
Yeah.
and it slowly kills you.
Yeah, I totally agree on that, because you could fall into that cycle. And how do I say? I there's a saying, again, my grandma, she used to do a lot of metaphors, that it doesn't matter where you're at in your career right now, but she used to say, it's not it's it's not okay, I forgot it in English, potro, the horses. I'm not big into horses, but it's not the horse, the first one that takes the lead in the race. It's the pura sangre. Oh my gosh, I should have Googled this before. It's there's a breed of horses that they just continue, 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 continue to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. The consistency of the race at the end of the day, that's going to take you way further than sprints or just little bursts of energy, right? It doesn't matter how much that consistency looks like. It could be 30 minutes a day. It could be just, I don't know, learning one thing a week, or putting 1 hour or 2 hours, if you can't do more, a week. But that over time piles up and compounds. And oh my gosh, a year goes by and then you go look back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did all of this just by putting in 1 or 2 hours a week, whatever it is for you, right? For every case is different. But that, I think, is what takes you way ahead of the game then,
It's like Melissa Motes always says that, try to be 1% better than you were previously every week. Right. And then you're
Totally up for that.
golden. 52 weeks go by, you're 52% better than you were at the start of the beginning of
Exactly.
the year.
That's 50%. That's a lot. That's a lot. If you think of it.
Exactly. So, okay. We went over the journey, we went over the awards, which is so awesome. I'm like super glad that we had this chat because I love it. It's all
Aw.
awesome. Okay, dream role. I have my script here, you guys, just so you know, so I don't forget things. What is the one role or the one performance, I guess you would say, that would be the ultimate dream come true? Like if you ever land this one thing, that is the height of your career.
Okay. Remember, I came into this because I was doing scratch voices and animation. One of the dreams, and I'm going to be totally open here. I married my husband because I have a dream. One of the things that why we came to LA and why right now he's an animation director, by the way, and he works in animation right now. One of my dream things is to be able to tell stories, to impact the life of this new generation that's coming. I have a 3.5-year-old, and I sometimes see that sometimes the world right now is very divided, and there's other conversations that we could have to unify this new generation and literally change the mindset of this new kids that are coming. So I want to be directly involved with telling these stories. I wish, of course, the first long objective is to land an animation gig, and it's the hardest niche to get into in voiceover. It's so hard. However, I'm pushing forward. I wish I had the opportunity to write and create and tell my own stories and produce, do blah, 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 to this new generation. That is my dream. It goes tied into the role and it goes tied into perspective, but that is my dream. Because I believe, like, if we don't invest in this new generation, where the hell are we going to be in 20 years? You see what I mean? I only have one mission, and it is to impact the lives of whoever crosses my life. If I have the opportunity to change one mind, I did my job. So that's what I've always believed, like since day one.
I think that's very honorable, noble. That's it. I mean, that's a fantastic dream. And that's not even a role. That's a dream of doing something.
Yes, because it doesn't at the end of the day, I'm going to have fun doing it. But I'm a kind of person that I feel more gratitude when I see somebody else change. So I'm going to have fun. I'm going to have I'm going to live it. But if that plus could impact or inspire or motivate somebody or move somebody, that then you never know. There's a theory in physics, like, you impact one and that multiplies. You never know the impact of what one little pebble or one little move can do to somebody. You never know the impact in a few years down. So that has always motivated me, like, I think every decision I've done.
That's awesome. It really is.
Maybe some people would think, oh shoot, I mean, like, I'm an idealist, or I'm like, dreaming big, but then I'm like, well, what else do you have?
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. I'm an idealist too.
Like, I'm 35. I'm gonna turn 36 in February, and I think the most valuable thing is time. Since I was a kid, I was scared to hit 40 and then look back and say, what did you do with those 40 years? I have a guilt that my son in 15 years, when he's 18, he comes and says, hey, mommy, what did you do? What were you doing, like, when you were 18? Or what were you doing when you were 35? I would have what do I tell him? Like, what did I do with my time? When he asked the question.
Doing the best that you could with the resources that you had.
Exactly. And then also, dream big. Like, if you dream it, you could do it. I'm like, I have to preach with example. I don't have anything else. That's where I'm coming from, girl.
If I ever become a parent, I think that I will never tell somebody, especially my own kid, that they could not do something. Because I'm in the same boat. I I pushed down my dream of being a singer or doing anything creative and lost myself for a while, and then finally came back a few years ago and I discovered voice acting, and I was like, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. Use my voice, and I can still sing. That's great.
Isn't it amazing? You never work a day in your life.
Right? When you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life. I never really believed that until I started doing this.
Same thing. Same thing.
That's incredible. Are you working towards that goal right now?
Yes. So one of the I love to play chess. Okay, so I try to go this very strategically. One of the reasons for the awards were I had the opportunity to be in front of casting directors and agents when I won those awards. So opportunity came. Like right now, I have some agents, and thank God they're sending me the opportunities to audition for animation. So I'm closer to the goal, right? I haven't landed anything yet, but I'm working towards it. I need to get my acting skills to the top. Like this year, I'm like, I need to get more improv. I need to do more improv. I need to keep, I mean, I've never stopped coaching. I haven't stopped coaching. I still keep taking classes. I was in a class yesterday. So, I mean, like, you have to keep doing this. But of course, it's a business. Like, everything that I'm investing in, I have to make the money to invest it. So it's like you have your bread and butter. It's not bread, meat and potatoes work, VO work that will pay the bills. And then with that, you work towards your dream goal, right? So that's
I think
where
you
we're
should
at.
create a screenplay that's loosely based on your life in defense.
Oh my
I feel
gosh.
like that would be cool.
That would I could imagine like I don't know, the scene when I was like quitting my job. I quit my job. You have to go. I can imagine that whole scene already. Like, just quit your job. You have to go and just find your dreams. I could already imagine that part. Anyway, sorry about that.
I did the same thing when I quit my job. As soon as I did, I was like, I'm free.
Yes. It's an amazing feeling.
It's funny because I had been crying that morning because I was so depressed. I hated my job so much. And it had been steadily getting worse for the 6 months. As I got more excited about becoming a voice actor and really doing this thing, the more depressed I got. Every morning I had to wake up and do my full-time job.
Yes.
It was terrible. So I went from crying that morning to finally deciding, like, I can't do this to myself anymore. Quit the job. I was singing the next minute.
I know. I
And then I was
know the
like, I don't know
feeling.
what I'm gonna do. I don't have money.
Yes, and the panic comes in. Yes, and if anybody is, I mean, anybody who's on the other side of the screen watching this, I mean, it's a struggle. It's a personal struggle, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Please.
And a lot of people, like, if you can handle it, keep your day job, because like the struggle, if you
Yeah.
have kids, if you have a whole family, if you have an expensive mortgage, like, don't put yourself through all of that if you can handle both of them at the same time. I personally could not imagine doing a job that drains me every day and then trying to do voiceover in either the morning or at night. I don't have the energy for that. I would not
Yeah.
have been able to do it. A lot of people do, though. And a lot of people
Yeah.
would tell me whenever I was taking classes, don't quit your day job until you're making even with voice acting.
And that's the hardest part, I think, the beginning.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
Right? Like literally everybody's story and how they started this, how they're going about it and where they're going with it, completely different.
Yeah.
So you do you, boo-boo, right?
Yes. And it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's okay.
It'll
There's
be
no
all
rules.
right.
Yes.
You'll live.
Yes.
So, okay, let's talk about some other things that are not related to voiceover. What are some other passions or hobbies that you like to do?
I love cooking. So,
I'm gonna have to come to your house. I want some Hispanic food. It'd be so good.
of course. So I had a cultural shock when I came to the United States. Because at the beginning I was living in Minnesota. It was so hard to get the ingredients. Like I
People
was
don't know how to
craving.
cook anything here.
No, 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 they do. But I
Just
mean,
kidding.
come on. The pizza, Chicago deep dish pizza. That was amazing. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is when I got here, I had a cultural shock because it was like, okay, I'm missing my carnitas tacos. Like I was craving it. I was missing home. At least with food, I was able to feel closer to home or figure out something, right? And then I did have a situation where this is real. The way we eat over there, or anybody that's who's migrated to the United States, it's like you have this cultural shock because you eat different. And I was being very unhealthy. Like the first year that I landed in the United States, I'm like I gained weight, I felt bad, I felt like groggy. It was a thing. So I'm like, okay, I need to focus. And I changed the way I started eating and I got creative with it. So I took the recipes from my mom, but started to doing it like in a healthy way. So I had this version of, for example, I don't know, like lasagna, but I did it kind of vegan. I'm not vegan. I just reduced the amount of food. Like I would eat more plant-based and then I would eat like a 10% with meat. It was just healthy. And I overall felt like even energy wise, I felt younger. I felt with more vitality. I don't know how to explain it. But I did notice that, okay, I need to, get this going. So every time I have an opportunity, I love to go in and say, like, oh, I could do some chilaquiles. How am I going to do this with? Let's change it up and let's just do. So I have fun because cooking is really creative too.
Mhm.
And you have to be resourceful. So I love the challenge, and anytime I can, I'm in the kitchen doing some experiment. I do fail from time to time, but still,
Failure's
it's
a part of success.
exactly. I learn, I'm
Yes.
like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. This sauce didn't work. Anyway, but I love cooking. I love plants. I'm like a plant mama. I have so many indoor plants in there, and you know, I love plants. I love just making things grow. I take a little piece of a pineapple and I will do some roots. I'll take it, transplant it. I've been trying to do a avocado seed. My dream is to have an avocado tree. I love avocados. So, so that's my those are my hobbies. I wish I had more time. I loved playing video games when I was younger. I love video games. I was a World of Warcraft until 6 in the morning playing. I mean, Jesus, I spent so much time in my life playing World of Warcraft, but still, I love playing video games. I don't have that much time, but then I'm already, hey, baby, come play with mommy. Let's go play Mario Kart. I'm like, some people would kill me, but hey, you have to use another side of your brain to play video games. So
Once he grows up a little bit, I'm sure that you'll be able to convince him to play
he's
some
already
better
playing.
games.
I already told him to play like Mario Odyssey. I'm like, come on, let's play. So he's like, ooh, yeah. So
See, that's why I can't like I like some video games, but I cannot allow myself to play very often because I will sit there all day
hours.
and then some. Just I get so addicted. Like
Yep.
my boyfriend will not play Civilization with me, but maybe twice a year because when we play Civilization, I am laying there for hours. I want to start this game in the ancient era and I will finish it
I know.
in the same day.
Yep. That's why I don't do it anymore too. I don't do it anymore. Board games are is another thing. I love board games. Like I love because it's a little bit of, you get to socialize with other people and I love the strategy games. That's like I love board games. I think
Oh,
that's it. Like video games, board games, cooking and plants. That's like you'll see me there.
you would get along so well with Eric. Like board games is his hobby. Like he likes video games. He used to be a really big on video games, but once he's got into board games, like his
Wow.
collection is just constantly growing. He can't even fit all of it in his bookshelf anymore.
Uh-huh.
It's insane.
Yes.
And strategy games is his favorite. That's what he's really good
Uh-huh.
at.
Yep. Tell me
Personally,
about
I'm
it.
a deck builder kind of person or
Oh, me too.
conqueror.
I love Dominion. I play Dominion. I love Dominion. You know, play that game,
I
Dominion?
haven't played Dominion. I played Risk though. I love Risk.
Oh, Risk too. I love Risk. Yes. Risk,
He won't play
Dominion,
Risk with me
Catan.
because it takes hours.
Settlers of Catan, that's a big one. Stone Age, I like it. Dixit, Secret Hitler. Oh my gosh. I love board games. That's like, yeah, I gotta meet Eric.
I think his favorite right now is he's really into Gloomhaven. They've got a group that they're playing. And for those of you that don't know, Gloomhaven is like this, it's a campaign type of game where you fight monsters, you upgrade your people and play as different characters. A lot of the times it takes years to actually finish the game.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because it's different scenarios and it's hundreds of scenarios. So that's his main
It's kind
thing.
of like Dungeons and Dragons.
Similar, except there's more action, there's more fighting in it.
Okay. So wait, I just want to so you said card builder, deck builders, Magic?
Not Magic.
Magic? Are you a Magic
is a little, no, Magic is a little too complicated for me. I'm thinking more like, what is it called? There was one that we used to play, DC Universe Villains.
Okay.
Something.
Isn't it Legacy? Legend Marvel's Legacy?
So I think so. Something like
that.
It's a bunch of cards. Yeah. And then
you fight
Clank,
the boss.
Yes.
Yep, I got that game too.
Different Clank also is a really good one. I love Clank because I get to collect all the cards.
That's okay.
Shoot. Wingspan.
Okay. I'm writing this down because I don't know that one, but I'll find it.
Wingspan is so fun. I love it.
See how the conversation went from voiceover? I mean, like, we're a whole bunch of geek people. Like, come on, we're in a booth. We're in a booth talking to ourselves. We're geek people. Come on, we're weird.
And she used to be in corporate, you guys. So don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I was there with my business casual attire, trying to fake it. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to continue this conversation later when I can remember all these board game names. Terraforming Mars is also a really good one that I like to play that he never wins in.
Okay.
So cooking, board games, video games on occasion, and then what was the other thing? Plants. This is something we're trying to get into. We're going to get into that a little more whenever we own a home.
Yeah, I don't own a home. I do it in my apartment. I have like a herb garden in my window. So
you see, we both have a black thumb, so we're just...
I know.
That's awesome though. I feel like all of those go together too.
Yep.
Really. As a personality, I feel like that fits.
Yeah.
So we talked about your dream goal or dream role, life role, things going on. Talked about your other hobbies and passions, role models. I know we've mentioned a few people that you've had the pleasure of coming into contact with. So is there anyone that you would consider a role model for yourself?
Wow. Okay. That is a good question. I'll have to split it into the first people that were actually my role model. One of them was my dad. My dad passed away in 2017, but Jesus, he taught me how to take opportunity and just don't say sorry about it and just go for it, because he was so brave to do things out of the box. He was my first role model, right? In the industry, I have to say, the voiceover community is amazing. Like, I've met the nicest people in the voiceover world. I was scared when I got into acting. I'm like, oh my gosh, just like, I don't know what kind of people you're going to find. I was scared of, you're going to find people with ego, or you're going to find people that are, might just like go back behind your back and stab you. I was scared. I'll be honest. I wasn't. Anyway, when I got into voiceover, I met the most beautiful people, supportive, even with all the different lives, like talking about mental health, talking about vocal health, talking about even encouraging you when you do not believe in yourself. And one of the first, Dave Fenoy, I had the opportunity to coach with him, and he's a beautiful person. He motivated me and inspired me to keep going. Valentina Latina was another one that she's a role model to me, like how she's winging it. She's a mom also. She has a child, and having to juggle all of this stuff is like, other coworkers, like friends. I have a friend in Mexico. His name is Freddy Gaitan. Like he started an agency from scratch, like in a third world country where it's hard, like, but still fighting for his dream. And I'm like, I admire them so much for like fighting for their dream and making it work. Katie Lee. I love her. I met her in Dallas. We're friends now because we connected in another level. Like, and it was a personal level. Like people are open to connect in a personal level. And and it's like there's nothing, it's not that I do something for you and you do something for me. It's just like genuine. I've met beautiful people that are genuine right there for you, you know? It's I'm just naming out and my list can keep going, and I'm sorry if I'm not saying a whole bunch of people that were there, but I mean, like, it's I can keep going and going. And Kirsten Day, she's a sweetheart. Like she told me, I remember her words the first time I went to her class. She told me, "Do not apologize. Don't you dare apologize because there's no wrong choices." I'm like, "Okay." So that like, okay, fine, I'll do this. First I faked it and then I believed it. But, certain things in my career that has been sprinkled all about, it's I don't know, I'm grateful with all of these people. Erin Yamawaki, Portia, Scott also. Like they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. So,
I had thought the same thing stepping into the world of actors. I guess maybe because I don't know. You hear rumors about actors being assholes. I thought I was stepping into a world of bullies. And then once I started talking to people, I realized like the best way I can put it is like it's like stepping into a world of best friends, automatic best friends.
yes.
And
Yep.
it's incredible.
Yep. And I wanted to mention before, if he's watching this, like one of my first inspirations in young in life, I was 17, 18. His name is Akoyani Chacon. We were friends in high school, and he was the first one that I ever saw believed in this career. He wanted to be an actor. He always wanted to be an actor. We were 17 and he quit everything. He left his home and got a scholarship to study in Guanajuato, Querétaro, in Mexico. And he just dropped out everything to follow his dream since he was 17. And he's right now he's a working actor. He lives in Mexico City and he's an on-camera actor. And I am just so proud because he impacted me the first time to go and, planted the seed to say, I don't give a damn. I'm going to do this all the way in. And he doesn't know it. I've told him, but he doesn't know it how much that impacted me. So I want to do that same impact to somebody else if I can do that. You know, because that's the only way we can keep going forward, right? So that I want to add it there.
That's awesome. All right, and we're gonna wrap up the episode with guys, you've had a lot of great nuggets of advice here, a lot of great inspiration and motivation, because we all need a little more of that. So for all of the creatives, we'll go with the voice actors because that's what we are. But just for creatives in general too, for all of the bilingual or multilingual talent out there who are just getting started, what is your advice?
Okay, I think don't underestimate your previous experience in life because this is going to help you to find your niche. And I'm going to put an example. If you were a teacher, hey, consider e-learning. If you were in corporate and you had to answer customer service calls for a long time, you're going to be great at doing corporate narration or corporate, the corporate world, how it works. If you were in radio, get into radio imaging. If you did theater, you're going to be great at video games and animation just by nature. You know what I mean? So first, don't underestimate your previous experience before you got into voiceover. That's going to help you tons. If you have a musical ear, you're going to be great at dubbing because it's all about tone, inflection, time, pacing, you know? But it's something to consider. That's the first one. This was for either you're bilingual or not. If you are bilingual, don't be scared. Right now, diversity is a thing. So even though you might not have a perfect French, You might not have a perfect English. You might not have a perfect Spanish. But if you have the talent to handle another language, and it doesn't matter what level, put it out there, because you never know what roles are going to come to you because they're looking specifically for you. So be as authentic as you can with yourself, and don't be scared to put those skills out there. I'm going to put a quick example. I'm from a Mayan region. Like, the little town I was telling you about is in the Mayan. If you don't know, if you guys know, but there's like a, in time, back in time, the Mayan culture was set in the Yucatan Peninsula. So I know some Mayan words because of my background. We used to do it. We used to talk. The other day I booked a video game because I knew Mayan words. They were looking specifically for somebody to know Mayan words because the video game was about cooking. And it was, come on, that was my role. That was mine. You see what I mean? But I had to put it out there.
Mwah.
Like, you see, yes, but you have to talk about it. Put yourself out there with who you are. That's like gold, because you're gonna always have the leg up with certain things that you could do, right? And don't think about it too much. Just go for it. The hardest thing is to start. Once you start, you get that, um, you get the groove on things, and then one thing happens and the other, and then it's easier to just roll with it. But you have to put, physics, you have to put the initial force to get the ball rolling. Once you do that, that's the hardest part.
It's just stepping, and then one foot after the other, and it becomes natural.
You're running. When you notice, you're already running.
I think that's some heavy hitting advice. That was 3 pieces of advice on top of everything else that you got. And I think that she hit the nail on the head.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to add on top of that. I think you covered every base. Honestly, that's great.
No,
All right.
Thank you, Samantha. You're a sweetheart. I mean, we got to meet again. If you're going to Dallas this year, I'll meet you there. Are you going? I'm going.
I'm hoping to. I'm working on the financial side of things, and we'll see in a few months.
Okay. Ass hours.
Look, my birthday's coming up in less than a month. February. I have a deal.
And February too. What day?
18th?
12th.
12th. My mom's is
We're
on the
Aquarius.
17th. How amazing is that?
We're Aquarius. See?
Just saying, Aquarians rule the world.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on to the show and spilling the tea on everything, and even giving a little bit of marketing advice, because I'm sure everybody needs a little help with that sometimes. So it's not like spilling the secrets, or like it kind of feels like it is sometimes, because people don't talk about that unless you are paying them to help you.
Yeah.
Because they hold it so close. They're like, no, don't take away my clients.
Nah,
but
there's a lot of there's a piece of pie for everybody.
Exactly.
And I always believe in there's no competition, because there's not. Because whatever comes to you, it's yours. But I'm happy when somebody else that's my friend books it, or, because there's a lot of work out there, so much work out there that I can only cover a certain part with my voice. And if the role is made for somebody else, it's that piece. Like, that's how I go about it. But yeah,
I feel like there's more projects than there are voice talent. So
that is true. That is true.
Everybody gets a little slice.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate your fabulous personality and like super happy-go-lucky. That makes everything so much better. Whenever you're like being just open and honest. And so that's something to never take for granted.
If anybody, when they're watching this, hey, follow me on Instagram, whatever, just hit me up. I'm always in Samantha, I'm in Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm right there. I'm happy to be of help. The same way people blessed me, I love to be a blessing for others. So I'm not a stranger, okay?
So you hear that, guys? If you have any questions, if you're starting out, if you just need somebody to like hype you up, get in contact. You can also contact me. Everybody knows what my my stuff is right by now.
Yeah.
This is the 12th episode. If you don't know what the social media is, go look in the blog post. It's there every time. So I'm going to put all of her information in the blog. There will be an audio version of this. There's going to be the video version. It'll be on YouTube, all over social media. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And I will see you all next time.
Thank you, Samantha. It was a pleasure.
Yes,
Bye,
it was awesome
everybody.
meeting you.